Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are starting your day off good. I just want to stop on real quick and just post a quick video. Um, it's something that I believe that God wants me to do. He wanted to post like a 3 to 4 part video on how to be intentional when seeking Him and how to be persistent in prayer. So there'll be a few videos that I'll be posting, you know, periodically or whatever, and I will be spacing them out, calling it part one, part two, part three, part four. Because I remember when I was going through my season of trials and tribulations, or I was going through my season of brokenness, or when I was going through my season of God calling me, that I wish that I had a me in my life, which means a person that, guided me on how to become closer to God. But however God intended it to happen, it happened, and I'm so blessed that it happened. The reason why I say this is because I've noticed a lot of people shy away from God because it's some of the people in our circle. And at one point in time, I had people in my circle. Not that they wasn't supportive, and not that they didn't love me. They didn't want to see me go through heartache and pain. And one of the things they would say is, that's not, God wouldn't want you to go through that. True enough, God wouldn't want to see us in pain, but God does cause calamity. God can cause pain and trials and tribulations, but His intentions behind it is to build us up in knowledge, is to build us up in wisdom, is to build us up in truth. And a lot of people don't know that because people in our circle be like, well, people don't want you to experience God, don't want you to experience that in your marriage, or that's not God, and God wouldn't want you to go through that. But that's not entirely true. See, that's why we need to get to know God for ourselves. That's why we need to get into our word. And this is what God wants to say. That God can cause adversaries, enemies, ops to rise up against us. Okay? God can cause heartaches, and God can cause things to happen in our lives, okay, that are unexpected, okay? Let me give you a little bit of history. Back in the biblical days, there was David. If you're not familiar with David, David was anointed king over Israel, which means he was handpicked by God, which means he was God's A1. He was God's chosen. He loved God. He's known for having God's own heart. He was after God's own heart, okay? But David had to go through suffering because David had lust in his heart. David lusted after a married woman, had a married woman's husband killed, married that woman, had a baby with that woman. You get what I'm saying? And God was not pleased with that. So guess what happened? God took that baby. And instead of David cursing God or running away from God, he surrendered to God. Okay? So during his suffering, he accepted what has happened and he surrendered to God, okay? Then David had another child with that woman, okay? And then that child was handpicked by God to become the next king of Israel, Solomon. Now, Solomon is the one who wrote Proverbs. He's the one that is wise. He's a wise man, okay? And Solomon loved God. God loved Solomon. He was God's A1, okay? But guess what? Solomon took in all these wives, all these different wives. He had over 100-some wives. You know what I'm saying? And they worshiped so many different gods, but they did not worship our God. They did not worship the one true God. And so Solomon started worshiping their idols, their gods, and God was not pleased with that. So guess what God did? God raised an adversary against Solomon, also against Solomon's lineage, okay? So people need to get out of their mind frame that, oh, God wouldn't want us to go through this. God wouldn't want us to go through that. Let's get out of that mind frame. Because guess what? God said that we have an enemy, an adversary, the devil, that he roams the earth seeking for who he can devour, okay? That he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The Lord also say that he came for us to have life and have it more abundantly, okay? So what does the word mean by that? The word means that God can cause things to happen to get our attention, okay? But it's supposed to work for our good because his word says all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord who are called according to his purpose. But the enemy can come in. Does not mean that the enemy cannot be in the midst of that. And he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. What is he coming to steal, kill, and destroy? Our faith, our hope, our dreams, our purpose, our joy, okay? He can come in and steal that faith. Why is it important for him to want to steal our faith? Because faith is what causes us to believe in a God that we cannot see physically. We have faith in God that God is going to be a healer, that he's going to be a sustainer, that he's going to be a deliverer, those type of things. If he can take our mind frame and take away our faith and our hope, because look, faith is the substance of things hoped for. I'm hoping for my marriage to be restored. I'm hoping for my body to be healed. I'm hoping for this. Listen good. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, which means I have not seen it yet. It has not manifested in my life yet. My marriage has not been delivered yet. My body has not been healed yet. You know what I'm saying? I have not had that financial breakthrough yet. All these things, okay? That's our faith. Faith is a huge, major process of trusting God. You know how hard it is to trust something that you cannot see? But this is how we build relationship with God, okay? Building our trust, building our faith, building our hope. But if the enemy can come in and steal these things from us, which means the very thing we can pray to God, oh God, deliver me, deliver me, deliver me. But sometimes God don't want to deliver us from it. He want us to go through it. Even Jesus prayed to God right before he was crucified that this cup be removed from him. But guess what? God needed him to go through it. And guess what? God gave him endurance. God gave him strength to get through it. And guess what? He accomplished the very thing that God wanted him to accomplish. It's the same thing for you and me, okay? Sometimes we praying to God to deliver us from things thinking it's the enemy, to pray for him to deliver us from the hands of the enemy when he's the one causing things and he wants us to get through it. He wants us to go through it, okay? And that's something where we need to learn how to be intentional with seeking God. We need to know how to seek God in prayer and wisdom and understanding. Get to know God as a person. Get to know his character. Get to know what he's about. That's very, very crucial in this day and age and this lifetime, okay? Because the enemy will come and he will try to strip you from everything. Everything that you praying for, it's the enemy's job to go against it. If you praying for that marriage to be restored, guess what? Your husband and wife about to be wilding out, doing everything they can, going against everything that you praying for. If you praying for deliverance of your children, guess what? Your children, everything you praying for, it's about to look like it's not happening. If you praying for your finances, guess what? Your car about to break down, lights about to get cut off, all of this. He's an adversary. That's why I believe God wants me to show what it is to be persistent in prayer, okay? And I wish I had a me, but at the time I was going through my suffering, but guess what? God gave me just what I needed when I needed. And I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. And I'm going to give it to you guys. I pray you guys have a good and blessed day. I'm going to be posting more videos. You guys have a good day. Goodbye.